Welcome. As a Christian, I look to my sacred text for inspiration. My invocation is drawn from Proverbs 8 in the Jewish scriptures. In these verses, wisdom is personified as a woman crying out to all that will hear her. Whether you are Christian, Hindu, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, Sikh, agnostic, or atheist, I pray that these words of wisdom resonate with you today. You graduates have been entrusted with a wealth of knowledge. I now pray for you to use that knowledge with wisdom to seek justice for your fellow human beings. I offer this 8th proverb as an invocation for this commencement of the class of 2017. Does not wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice? She takes her stand on the top of the hill beside the way where the paths meet. She cries out by the gates, at the entry of the city, at the entrance of the doors. To you, O men and women, I call, and my voice is to the sons and daughters of men. O you simple ones, understand prudence. And you fools, be of an understanding heart. Listen, for I will speak of excellent things, and from the opening of my lips will come right things. For my mouth will speak truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are with righteousness. Nothing crooked or perverse is in them. They are all plain to those who understand, and right to those who find knowledge. Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yes, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I traverse the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice, that I may cause those who love me to inherit earth, that I may fill their treasuries. Lord, dear God, I pray for your wisdom to guide these graduates as they step out to put their training and skills to work. May they seek the well-being of those who do not have power. May they pursue justice for those who have no voice. Amen.
You may be seated. Good afternoon. I am Elizabeth McLeod-Walls, president of William Jewell College. On behalf of the college, I welcome the class of 2017, their proud families and friends, and all our alumni gathered today for graduation convocation. It's a great day to be a Cardinal. What an honor it is to be here, celebrating these bright minds and anticipating the many ways that they will go on to pursue meaningful lives. Graduates, today we celebrate you and the immeasurable amount of work that has earned you a place in this class. I hope you will set forth not only with your new degree, but also with a new mindset. You have broadened your thinking through Jewell's critical thought and inquiry core curriculum and completed our rigorous responsible self and capstone courses. The world needs your ability to analyze, problem solve, communicate, and think critically. Our students' ability to succeed, both professionally and personally, is the outcome of their curricular and co-curricular experience at Jewell, the academically engaged and caring learning community that facilitated their ability to learn, interact, and create during their 4 years on our campus. Commitment to service also is a long-held Jewell value, and in my first year as president, I have been humbled to be surrounded by servant leaders. Jewell students, along with faculty and staff mentors, believe in using their talents to create a better life for others. From serving at local nonprofits to Kansas City urban elementary schools to communities on 5 continents. Last year, the generous people on this campus volunteered more than 82,500 hours of community service. Our work in and outside of the classroom is thanks to the tireless leadership and support of our Board of Trustees. Their leadership and vision are the foundation of what we're able to achieve as an institution. Will the trustees present at this ceremony today please stand to receive our appreciation for their service to the college?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Ann Dima, Provost of the college. The value of the superior liberal arts education experienced by our graduates is built upon the strength of the college faculty. As teachers and scholars, mentors and community builders, they led our graduates to this defining moment and prepared them to their pursuit to lead and serve. I would like to recognize a member of our faculty, Dr. Patrick Bunton, Professor of Physics, who is the recipient of this year's Carl F. Willard Distinguished Teacher Award, which annually recognizes outstanding service in the classroom among the William Jewell College faculty members. Dr. Bunton, will you please stand for our recognition? Dr. Bunton, we are grateful for your presence and the example that you demonstrate for a passion of learning and commitment to students in the classroom, but also outside the classroom and around the world. Thank you very much. The entire body of faculty at Jewell demonstrates passion for teaching and scholarship, and a passion for helping students succeed. We care for you, the students, and have confidence you will use this great knowledge and experience to find fulfillment in your professional and personal lives. Faculty, will you please stand to be recognized and to receive our gratitude for the difference you have made in the lives of these graduates. Please stand. Thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you.
It's my honor to introduce today's speaker. Reverend Adam Hamilton is the founding pastor of the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection in Leawood, Kansas. He started the church with 4 members, his own family, and has nurtured it into the fastest growing and largest United Methodist Church in the country with more than 20,000 members. His founding vision was to create a congregation for thinking people, non-religious and nominally religious people. And he has become known for writing and teaching about life's tough questions, the doubts with which we all wrestle, and the challenging issues we all face. Among his honors, Reverend Hamilton is a best-selling and award-winning author of more than 20 books and was selected by the White House to deliver the message at the National Prayer Service as part of President Obama's second inaugural activities. I am delighted and honored to have him at Jewell today to offer our commencement address. Please join me in welcoming the Reverend Adam Hamilton.
This is such a great honor to be here. Thank you to Dr. McLeod-Walls. Thank you, faculty, staff, family members, and especially students. And I got to do this before I do anything else. I was told as I was coming up here that this class was going to change the world. So I thought if I could just get a selfie with you before you do that. Do you mind? Let's see. Here we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Great. Thank you so much. I know I'm standing between you and your diploma, so I'm going to keep this relatively brief, but I am excited to be here with you on this exciting day. You are graduating from one of the premier liberal arts colleges in the country, and there is great potential awaiting you. And my hope is to share with you a few final lessons before you walk off with your diploma on what it's going to take in order for you to be critical thinkers living in community, pursuing meaningful lives. You all know that statement, right? Yeah, okay. So that's what you've been prepared for. These folks have given money for you to be able to do this. The faculty have poured themselves into preparing you to be able to do this. So the question is, what's it going to take in addition to your degree to pull this off? Some of the things I'm going to share with you are things that you've learned along the way I just want to remind you of. So there are 4 things in particular I want to mention. The first is the importance of discovering your passionate why. Why are you here? Why do you exist? What is the purpose of being human? Why are you living in this world today? We might think about this as your MVP, your mission, your vision, and then the development of a plan to accomplish that. Recently, I was speaking with a young man who I dearly love, about your ages, and I said, so what's your plan? And he said, my plan is to make as much money as I can. And I said, really, that's it? And he said, well, I grew up in poverty. I mean, I had nothing. I was raised by a single mom. I knew how hard it was to make ends meet every single week, and I'm not going to let that happen to me or my family. And this is all I can think of right now is I'm going to go out and I'm going to figure out how to make as much money as I can. And he said, then someday I'd like to own my own company and I'd like to be in charge. I want to be the guy making the decisions. I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I want to do what I want to do. And I said, well, those are great things. You should, John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, said, make all that you can, save all that you can. But then he included one last piece of it. He said, so that you can give all that you can. And somewhere along the way, you figure out when you've made all the money you thought you'd make, or you make more than you ever thought you'd make, and you go, I'm still not happy. There's something still missing in my life. And that's when you begin to figure out it just can't be all about money. One of the things I love about millennials is most of you figured this out way before your parents figured it out. You figured it out that it's not about money and prestige and power, but it's about something else. I'm reminded of something St. Paul said in writing to the church at Philippi. He says this, don't do anything out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but instead in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each person should be watching out not for their own good first, but to watch out for the good of others. I'm reminded of something Ron Heifetz teaches. He's at the Kennedy School at Harvard, and he talks about in his book, Leadership Without Easy Answers, that the role of the leader, and I would say the role of any decent human being, is to look at the world, at least in part this is what we do, is we look at the world and we try to visualize what's the world supposed to look like, the world as it's supposed to be, and when we look around we see the world doesn't look like that. We have the world as it is and the world as it's supposed to be, and Heifetz says the job is to figure out how to close the gap between the world as it is and the world as it's supposed to be. So part of what we've got to do is dream. We've got to look around and see, how is the world not yet like it's supposed to be? And then what role are you going to play with your degree in helping to close the gap between the world as it is and the world as it's supposed to be? Now, there are lots of areas that you can do that in. Every field of endeavor with which you have a diploma or a degree today allows you to do that, whether it's the fine arts or nursing or education or business. All of those are fields or areas where we have an opportunity to close the gap, and in every one of those fields, we'll find that gap. Several years ago, I was preaching at Church of the Resurrection, and we were looking at the problems that were so clearly displayed in the news every day that week in the Kansas City, Missouri public school system. Now, things have turned around there a lot, and it's something to be celebrated what's happened. But at the time, the school system had just fired I think it was the 16th superintendent of schools in 30 years. The school had lost its accreditation by the State Board of Education. The morale was at an all-time low among the faculty, and there were students who were leaving as quickly as they could find a way out of the school system. And one of the things we recognized was they were struggling with getting quality teachers. Those teachers were demoralized. There were lines of people waiting to get a job in the suburbs, but not so many waiting in some of the urban core schools. And so we began to talk with the school system and say, what could we do? And they said, well, we need teachers. And so one Sunday I was preaching on this, and I said, when we look at Kansas City, the very first public schools were started by churches. And they were started by churches because Christians believed people of faith believed that children needed a chance to have a future with hope, and education was key to that. But somewhere along the way, we've forgotten that this is a part of our mission. And so as a part of the message, I said, I'd just like to challenge those of you young school teachers and those of you who are older school teachers, would you consider leaving your job in the suburbs and going to work in the city? And 3 of our teachers did that. 3 of them quit their jobs in the Blue Valley school system, Shawnee Mission school system, Olathe school system, and they went to work at some of the most impoverished schools in the greater Kansas City area. A year later, I received an email from a woman, one of our young teachers, who went to work in one of these schools. And she said, Pastor Adam, I need to tell you that this week on Monday, one of my 7-year-olds went home and found that her mother had been shot to death. She was gone on Tuesday, but she was back in school on Wednesday because she had nowhere else to go. And all day long today, she held my little hand, I held my hand, she held my skirt, she sat on my lap. She was so disturbed and so traumatized, and she wouldn't let go of me. And I held her all that day, and she said, of course, I'm a public school, I'm not publicly out loud praying for her, but in those silent moments, I'm praying, God, help me to love this little girl, and help her to know that the world is safer than she feels it is today, and help me to give her hope. And she said, my student just left for the day, and I had to send an email to you to say, thank you for being the kind of preacher who would preach and challenge us to leave our jobs in the suburbs to go serve in the city. I'm so grateful that I have a chance to be in this place. She figured out her passionate why. She figured out that it wasn't about money or prestige, it was about something else. And when it came to serving and caring for the least of these, she was finding her richest meaning in life. Here's the second key to leading that meaningful life. Remember, it's all about people. It's all about people. Successfully navigating a meaningful life is about connecting with, caring for, and blessing other human beings. Now, some of you might be the kind of folks who don't do so well around people. Maybe you're more introverted, or maybe you're introverted and you just don't like people. My dad just tells me, I just don't like people. And sometimes as a pastor, I have said I would love my job were it not for the people. But somewhere along the way, you've got to figure out, how do I connect with people? How do I bless them? How do I love them? How do I encourage them? I mean, the mission in life, according to both the Hebrew Scriptures as well as the Christian New Testament, is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's to do justice and to practice loving kindness. I mean, these are the kinds of things. Every religion has something like this. It's pointing towards this idea that you were meant to live in community with other people and you were meant to care about other human beings. Now, if you don't figure this out, how to be a decent human being and how to take an interest in other people and care for them, most people are going to think you're a jerk. Now, some people can get away with being a jerk. If you make enough money somewhere fast enough, you can get by with, with being a bit of a jerk. But for most people, you're going to have to figure out the people skills. And what we know is that most experts will tell us EQ is far more important than IQ or GPA in determining your success in life. Every success I've ever had in life had to do with people skills. And here I'd remind you of those famous words God spoke to Abraham, where he said, Abraham, I will bless you so that you might be a blessing to all the nations of the earth. This is the rhythm with which we're meant to live. We're blessed so that we can be a blessing. Now, this is done, of course, in sometimes really big ways, but usually it's in very small ways. So I'll give you one example. Several years ago, I was getting gas at a convenience store near the church that I serve. And I walked in, and the woman behind the register, you could tell she was having a very bad day. She was slamming the register door closed. She would, when people would walk up, they would bristle because she would say, what do you need? What do you want? What do you need? And it just felt unpleasant. And I'm bracing myself for the exchange I'm going to have with her. But as I'm standing there in line, I began thinking to myself, why is she so unpleasant right now? And then I began to make up a storyline for her. I didn't know if it was true or not, but I began to think, I wonder if this woman is working for minimum wage, if she has a child who's sick at home and no one else to take care of it, if she's been discouraged for a long time in a job that feels like a dead end and people have been unkind to her today. And as I began to make up these things, I began to feel compassion for her. And then I began to think, what can I say that might be a blessing to her? How can I find one nice thing to say about her? I mean, this wasn't rocket science, right? I walked up and I looked and I saw she had a pair of glasses on that looked unique and interesting. And when I got to the register, she said, what do you need? I said, well, first, I really like your glasses. Where'd you get those glasses from? And it just stopped her in her tracks. Just a simple compliment. She was like, and I said, by the way, I want to say one other thing before I tell you what I need. Thank you for being here. Because I know, this is not an easy job to have. And because of you, I get to get gas and I get to go on my way. And I know this is probably a thankless job, but I want to say thanks for being here for people like me. And tears began to well up in her eyes while she's standing behind the register. And she said, that's the first nice thing somebody said to me in this job in months. Thank you for being nice to me today. And I paid for my gas, and I, went and walked away. I said, hey, thank you again, and I hope you have a great day. As I walked away, I listened as she waited on the next customer. She said, how can I help you today? I mean, all it took was one kind word, right? There was somebody who was really discouraged, and all it took was somebody to say something nice. And here's what I found, is most people are discouraged most of the time in our world, and if you're the kind of person who gives encouragement to people, they will follow you, they will listen to you, they'll want to be around you, because you gave them something they desperately needed. Right? We've got to learn how to care for people. By the way, when it comes to success in ministry, one of the things I learned a long time ago, I learned this when I was selling women's shoes while I was in college. So I used to sell women's shoes. I worked with a woman named Pearl Golden. She was about as old as the dirt. And we both worked selling women's shoes at a nice department store, and we worked on commission. And on her day off, I was the only person there, and I was desperately needing money as a college student. And women would walk in and they would say, is Pearl here? And I'd say, no, Pearl's not here right now. Oh, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. I'm like, no, please, let me wait on you. Seriously, I'll help you. No, I'll just come back when Pearl's here. So I finally asked Pearl one day, I said, Pearl, why is it these women are willing to come back the next day just to see you? And she said, because every pair of shoes I've sold for the last 30 years, I took the time to write a personal thank you note to that woman and say, thank you for allowing me to wait on you. I love your shoes, and it was such a pleasure. I hope you'll see me again. And I found the personal connection I made with people and saying something nice to them led them to ask for me every pair of shoes they would buy from that time forward. It's funny, it's just a small little thing, but it's the people skills. It's all about people. Here's the third key. I call it discernment by nausea. Discernment by nausea. Now, discernment is when you're trying to figure out what to do next, right? And you've got, oftentimes you'll find you have two paths in front of you, a fork in the road, and one path is pretty easy, and it's safe, and it looks comfortable, and it doesn't look hard. And then often you'll find the other path looks hard and difficult and uncomfortable, and it makes you a little sick to your stomach. Now, when you're faced with two paths, and one is easy and safe and convenient, and the other one makes you a little sick to your stomach, I have figured out along the way that almost always the right decision is the one that makes you sick to your stomach. Discernment by nausea is figuring out that the hardest path is usually the right path. The one with more risk is usually more rewarding than the one with less risk. The one with more stress is often more rewarding than the one with less stress. Jesus talked about it this way. He said there are two paths in life. There is one that's broad and wide and it leads to destruction, and there's one that's narrow and hard and it leads to life. Robert Frost, in those famous words, said it this way: two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. You've already taken one of the harder paths. You could have decided not to go to college. And some of you risked a lot to be here, and you paid a lot, and your parents maybe paid a lot, and it was hard, and you took the harder path. But you've already figured out that somehow taking the harder path actually produces the greater reward. I was thinking about the fear that we feel sometimes in life, and it's fearful, and you're getting ready to jump out into the quote, real world, and it's going to be scary in places. And I want to encourage you to remember this, that courage is not the lack of fear. Courage is the willingness to do the right thing even when you're afraid. And I'll just remind you of words that I learned long ago in a class I was taking on time management. And it's so simple, but I found it to be so true. Successful people, however you define success, are willing to do the things unsuccessful people are not willing to do. That means choosing the hard path, the difficult path. In my own life, I found all the things I'm most proud of in my life, the things that were most rewarding, were the hardest things that I did. They were moments when I chose to speak up when I was really afraid, and I knew people would be mad if I spoke up against this or against that thing or for this or that thing. But I did it, and it was hard, and yet somehow those are the moments that I look back on with the greatest pride. The things that I've done in my career and my work world, every one of those ones that was hard and difficult ended up being the ones that were the right path that made all the difference. And that leads me to one final key in successfully navigating life, and that's perseverance. Perseverance means that you don't give up easily. You don't give in despite criticism, despite failure, despite adversity. This is essential because you're going to be criticized at times. I promise you that. If you're a school teacher, I talk to school teachers. I say, what do you hate most about your job? It's the criticism from the parents. And no matter what field you're in, you're going to find you're going to be criticized. Everybody is criticized. If you don't want to be criticized, don't be a leader, be a follower. Even then you'll be criticized sometimes. So you're going to be criticized. You have a bold idea, you're going to be criticized. You have an innovative solution, you're going to be criticized. You have a vision of something that could happen that's not currently happening, you're going to be criticized. I think about presidents. And when you look back over the last 80 years, the president who had the highest approval ratings was John F. Kennedy. Of course, he was only in office for 3 years. his approval rating was 70%. That meant that 30% of the country didn't like the job he was doing. Ronald Reagan is often lifted up as one of the great presidents of the last century. Republicans particularly like him as one of the great presidents. 53% of Americans thought he was doing a great job, but 47% of Americans thought he was a lousy president. 47%. I think about in our own lives that you are going to be criticized, you're going to be harassed, sometimes you're going to be discouraged. And the question is, do you give up or do you keep pressing forward? Several years ago, it's probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago, in my congregation, I preached a sermon that upset some people. And over the course of the next year, we had a number of people who left the church. And I'm not prone to depression, but I was more depressed than I've ever been in my life. And there was one moment, I remember, we had horses, and we were out in the barn, mucking out the barn. One night, my wife and I said, "Levon, I can't do this for another 20 years. It hurts too much. Every letter I get from somebody, every stinging barb that I get from somebody saying, that they don't like what I've said, or I can't be their pastor anymore because of what I preached. I just can't do this. Is it okay if I go do something else?" And she said, "I'll follow you wherever you go. But I want to ask this question. Is God calling you to go somewhere else, or are you running away?" It was a great question to ask. And the truth was, I was running away because it hurt. And I decided I need to stay. Now I will tell you, the greatest experiences I've ever had in ministry have been since that time in the church that I'm serving, because I refused to give up. So I want to just remind you, one of the great biblical figures who experienced this was Moses. And at one point, the Israelites came to him and said, "We don't like you as our leader anymore. You led us out of slavery, but we want to go back to slavery. We're not interested in you leading us anymore." Moses, you may remember, goes out into the wilderness and he looks up to God and he says, "God, just kill me now. I'm sick of these people. I don't want to do this anymore. And I promise you, you're going to, well, maybe you won't pray that, but you're going to feel like, I got to quit, I got to run away." And God says, "No, just get back to work. I'm not finished with you yet." All right, so there it is. The world you're facing is exciting. There are amazing opportunities. There are challenges. You've received an outstanding education. Now you've got to find your passionate why. What it is that you really believe in, aside from just making money or advancing your own career. You've got to remember that success is all about people. You've got to hold on to the fact that at times you're going to be called to do the hard thing and not the easy thing, and that's going to be the key to your success. And finally, when adversity comes, and it will, don't give up. And you're going to be the kind of people who are critical thinkers, who live in community, who experience meaningful lives. God bless you as you do that.
Thank you, Reverend Hamilton. You've inspired me. You've made me think. I know you've done the same for our graduates, and they will carry this message with them as they do go on to pursue meaningful lives. In keeping with a long-standing tradition at Jewell, the class of 2017 has selected a classmate to offer the senior message. This year's speaker is Trevor Nix, a biochemistry and business administration major who has already co-founded a biotechnology startup focusing on the use of spirulina, a cyanobacteria. Last summer, he worked on growing this sustainable food source at a lab in Ireland through the IndieBio Biotechnology Accelerator Program. He has devoted much of his time promoting STEM education and entrepreneurship as a University Innovation Fellow, a program run by Stanford University's Design School. In March, Trevor was among 24 students in the nation selected to present at the University Innovation Fellows Silicon Valley meetup at Microsoft headquarters. In addition to research projects on campus, he has served as a Cardinal host and has been an officer in several student organizations, including president of the American Chemical Society. This year, the student body chose Trevor as homecoming king, and classmates voted him the senior with potential for great achievement, known within the Jewell community as the Colonel Alexander Donovan Award. In a few months, he will head to Tufts University in Boston to pursue a PhD in biotechnical engineering. Please welcome for the senior message, Trevor Nix.
First off, you all are far too kind to me. Fun fact, my freshman year, I earned a C+ in public speaking. Mainly because my speeches were too long. Today, I was given a word limit of 700, and in keeping with tradition, I have 814 for you. So let's begin. In the year 1922, a biology professor here at William Jewell College was fired for teaching evolution. In the year 2003, the Missouri Baptist Convention voted to defund William Jewell College because our institution's trustees and then college president Dr. Salih were, quote-unquote, advancing the homosexual agenda by allowing a gay student group to form. Well, today, in the year 2017, the senior speaker is a gay evolutionary biologist. So today we're going to talk about change. Change. In white science, we often discuss about change in the context of Newton's first law. An object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Thank you for that, Dr. Baker. This law helps explain classical mechanics, and it also explains how college students can pull 3 all-nighters in a row studying for a test and immediately afterwards sleep for 14 hours straight. My point, though, is that force, whether it's tactile, caffeinated, or otherwise, creates change. But at Jewell, scientists aren't just scientists, and I haven't spent all of my time in White Science Center. Our liberal arts curriculum encourages each of us to delve into an array of the world's problems and deepest questions with respect to 3 principles. The first, ontology, what is real? The second, epistemology, how do we know what is true? And the third, ethics. How should we live? We use these principles to frame questions, big questions, like, what is a good society? So much so that some of our capstone courses are literally titled, What is a Good Society? In 1922, as anti-intellectualism swept through the Midwest, those in charge of Jewell decided that good society does not teach evolution. In 2003, those in charge of Jewell decided that even when it comes at a cost, that a good society bestows freedom of or even from religion upon its members. This institution holds that ideal still today. And of course, our beloved biology faculty now do teach evolution. Implicit in both these examples, though, is that William Jewell College as an institution has changed. However, Jewell hasn't changed because of a tactile force or even caffeine. This institution has changed because people like Dr. Salih and our trustees asked themselves, what is a good society? Decided that a good society necessitates freedom of thought, and then exerted the social force necessary to instill that ideal on our campus. On our first day on this campus, during orientation, we were asked a question: why pursue higher education? Why be at William Jewell College? In classic Jewell fashion, we were left to debate it amongst ourselves. After some others had spoken, I offered my opinion. It was something along the lines of, college gives us the opportunity to crystallize what we believe in and will fight for the rest of our lives. Sounds pretty good, right? Almost immediately, though, Caitlin Troutman, from 2 tables away, raised her hand, looked me in the eyes, and very kindly said, no. College is not the place for creating dogmas to live by. We must understand that we can't ever know everything, and as we learn new facts, our opinions and positions will likely change. We will change. In response, I pulled out my phone and Googled the word dogma. Thus, my mind changed, expanded by the force applied by my peer, never to return to the same dimensions. I looked at the next 4 years in a new light. College and life itself became a place for change. The fact is that the only constant in our lives, aside from our student debt, is going to be change and taxes. Importantly, though, Jewell's liberal arts education has taught us how to change responsibly. We've read and discussed different texts, the Bhagavad Gita, Consilience on Liberty, and many others, because changing both yourself and society requires a breadth of knowledge and perspective. Ultimately, critical thinking and the liberal education do not end at our capstone asking, what is a good society? the liberal education never ends. It instills in its lifelong practitioners the ability to identify problems in society, ask questions, offer a solution, and then exert the force necessary to change society. Graduates of William Jewell College are liberally educated, and thus, graduates of William Jewell College are agents of change. Today, as we prepare to leave the Hill, our questions must become less theoretical and more immediate. Do we live in a good society? No. I mean, it's not terrible, and some parts are honestly quite great. But for example, every person in this room has at least one thing they would change about the world. For example, minorities, due to an abundance of socioeconomic inequality, are less likely to be able to afford and attend college in the United States of America. That's a problem. We as a class can't immediately solve all the problems that add to that problem. However, we can start a scholarship fund specifically for minority students at Jewell. We can, and so we did, having raised over $3,000 in initial donations to a scholarship fund for minority students at William Jewell College. We've begun applying our force to change society, and we will continue doing so. Not standing idly by as the world changes around us. No, we as graduates of William Jewell College, we will be changing the world around us. Thank you.
Indeed, a liberal education never ends. Thank you for your message, Trevor. We're grateful for the efforts by you and your classmates to support and enhance the Jewell community. Now, we will proceed with the awarding of degrees. The candidates for the degrees of the Bachelor's of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Master of Science will be presented by Dr. Ann Dima, Provost. She is assisted by Dr. Janine Hastings, Associate Professor of Education and Chair of the Faculty Council. As individual names are called, I invite family members and friends to stand and share in this moment of recognition with their graduate. After the individual diplomas are presented, please be seated so that other family and friends may stand for recognition of their graduates.
Will the members of the class please rise? Dr. McLeod-Walls, I have the honor to present the graduating class of 2017. They have completed, or will have completed by the end of the summer, the required curricula. They have been approved by the faculty, and I now request that you confer upon them and upon those officially excused the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Master of Science.
Members of the William Jewell class of 2017, upon the authority vested in me by the trustees of William Jewell College, established on February 27, 1849, by a charter granted by the legislature and signed by the governor of the sovereign state of Missouri, upon the specific vote of the faculty and in the name of the faculty, and upon your completion of all requirements for your degrees, I hereby confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Master of Science, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto, on this 13th day of May in the year 2017, and of William Jewell College, the 168th year after our founding. Now, graduates, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your mortarboards. Congratulations to the William Jewell College graduating class of 2017.
The graduates will now proceed to the platform to receive their diplomas. The audience is requested to reserve its applause until the entire group has returned to the graduates section. Will the members of the graduating class please be seated, with the exception of those seated in the first row, who will approach the platform. I encourage the audience to follow the reading of names in the printed program, so you will see those members of the class who are graduating with distinguished honors from the college. We ask your cooperation in honoring our graduates today by maintaining an atmosphere of respect and dignity as their names are called. Each year, we welcome exchange students from around the world. This year, our student from Bulgaria earning her one-year certificate of successful study is Lilia Ivanova Hertsanova. This year, our student from Spain earning her one-year certificate of successful study is Ana Pedros Rigon. December 2016 graduates receiving the degree Bachelor of Arts are Lucas D. Adams, Natalie Ann Knutson, Aubrey Ronald Churchman, Meredith Claire Graves, Nathan Allen Miller, Sierra Marie Rucker, Brandon Douglas Womack. December 2016 graduates receiving the degree Bachelor of Science are Devin M. Bolin, Christina Lynn Natasha Goudreau Ergenbright, Colin M. Heller, Marcus D. Moy, Shannon E. Williams, candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts in May 2017 are Alexandria Jean Acord, Alyssa L. Adams, Kyle Leon Ainge, Morgan Elizabeth Allen, Ezra Garrett Begeman, Christian Alexis Alexandria Benton Keys, Lane Avery Bland, Justin Robert Blevins, Samantha Diane Bond, Bailey Morgan Breeding, Amanda Jean Brophy, Samuel McKinley Bulig, Joseph Drake Burdette, Jessica Louise Capps, Nathaniel Jefferson Conway, Catherine Nicole DiPortoli. Larissa Lynn Doherty. Colson Christopher Douglas. Madeline Marcia Douglas. Claire Elizabeth Etzenhauser. Abram Fernandez. Taylor Christine Fleener. Jade Corrine Flint. Jasmine Greer. Morgan Nicole Hayter. Marissa Kate Herbst. Stephen Herrera. Cameron Clark Hillman. Lillian Grace Hoshwinder. Alex Laird Holden. Ariel D. Hutchin. Freya Margareta Ingelstam. Oh, you should. I know she shouldn't have done that. Brett Tracy Jackson. Trevay Montez Jones. Gavin McKenzie Kiger. Hannah Christine Clausen. Oh man, you just all lined up one after the other. Brian Matthew Cogs. Alicia Jane Lecker. Rachel Elizabeth Long. Anthony Joseph Lorino. Camille Gabrielle Love. Jonathan M. Martin. Gretchen Gwendolyn Mays. Lynn McCutcheon. Ashley E. Milne. Megan Lee Moore. Matthew J. Oliver. Sander M. Padilla. Hannah Naomi Payne. Andrew C. Pfeiffer. David Michael Randall. Bruce Lloyd Rash. Daniel Staten Rebeck. Austin Todd Regier. Trevor B. Nix. Michaela Elizabeth Roller. Charlotte Ann Sargent. Benjamin Cargill Shinogle. Rachel Ann Snyder. Eric C. Standley. Brett J. Stone. Caitlin H. Troutman. Amanda Ann Underwood. Daniel M. Verga. Mira Augusta Rose von Malotki. E. Wong. Austin Q. White. Madison Ann Willenborg. Rebecca L. Wolf. Brittany Lee Wrinkle. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in May 2017 are Hillary Ann Abel, Brianna Sarah Abramson, Michaela Adams, Trevor P. Adams, Blake Evan Alexander, Madison Lee Allshouse, Shelby Claire Anderson, Tiffany S. Antle, Audrey Jane Arns, Agnes Kona Barol, Lauren Elizabeth Barrett, Thomas Daniel Boylan, Marissa Ann Brackman, Elizabeth Christine Brock, Stephanie Lynn Brock, Mason Dane Brown, Austin J. Browning, Zachary Neal Knoll, Savannah Bell Carter, Curtis Samuel Chapin, Heather Nicole Stasola, Dalton S. Clevenger, Quentin L. Conyers, Madeline Ashley Cox, Ethan M. Delaney, Lucas Hagan, You say that. Brandy N. Dennis. Dylan Dallas Doss. Receiving both the degrees Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science, Raina Noel Downing. William B. Eaker. Maggie Amelia Inquest. Marissa Ann Introp. Sarah Elizabeth Evans. Caitlin Christine Fisher. Lauren Ann Fogel. Garten. Taylor Marie Garten. Catherine Jeanette Golson. Ashlyn Christine Griffin. Ashley Adele Halstead. Allison Claire Harbaugh. Zachary Joseph Haynes. Luke Zachariah Heaton. Allison Brett Henderson. Craig Joseph Henry. Riley Lynn Hess. Lauren A. Honig. Drake David Hofer. Shay Suzanne Holland. Lauren Lee Huddleston. Molly Lynn Ingram. Ariana L. Jaquez. Anna Marie Kaya Kamanu. Erin Paige Kanke. Joseph Daniel Keevan. Kyle Lee Claren. Carolina Kashansky. Maria Elena LaCapra. Aaron Lawrence. Tracy Lynn Lear. Amy Jane Lindhorst. Briar Lowry. Sarah Christine Lyon. Hannah Joy Mason. Laura Audrey Mata. Shannon Elizabeth McCoy. Edna McCrary. Brianna Lynn McInnes. Elizabeth Lynn McMurray. Jordan J.L. McMurray. Christina Page Meredith.
Messina.
Elizabeth Ann Messina. Grace Delaney Mize. Emily Renee Monroe. Christopher Doss Morrison. Gabrielle Elizabeth Myers. Madison Nicole Nelson. Jeffrey James Nickel. Megan Elizabeth Paul. Jorge Perez Laham. Tony Joe Petrali. Modestine Ray Powers. Carter Kennedy Quirk. Justin C. Riley. Abigail Suzanne Rowan. Kittrick Tyler Russell. Mary Louise Sanders. Sarah Caitlin Schroeder. Savannah Simpson. Kelsey Ann Louise Snyder. Jonathan Patrick Spire. Christopher Stanley Stack. Zachary J. Starr. Zachary Carl Stelzer. Adam Stotts. Megan Elizabeth Treese. Ashley Nicole Van Black. Amy Annette Walsh. Amber Lynn Wayhill. Shelby Lynn White. Alec Neal Whiteside. Travis Dwayne Williams. Parker D. Wood. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts in July 2017 are Beau Edward Bellum, Daniel George Biddle, Elisa Catherine Bolger, Grace M. Bunton, Alexandra Diane Clifton. Jordan Taylor Coppin. Iona Naomi Kern Howes. Caitlin Rochelle Sloan. Sydney Inez White. Simon Saichek. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in July 2017 are Larry L. Fitzgerald, Matthew Ray Lassen, Cassandra Gail Lemon, Natalie Jane Owens, Michelle M. Rowan, candidates for the degree Master of Science in Education in July 2017 are Megan W. Mahanes, Margaret Ann Mannion, Beth Larson Rieger,
Congratulations, William Jewell College class of 2017. On behalf of the William Jewell College Alumni Association Board of Governors, I welcome you as members of our alumni. You each played a valuable role in defining the Jewell community, and you always will have a place on this campus that you have for so long and in the future will call home. As you leave here today, I am filled with certainty that you will find fulfillment along your journey. I would like to invite Trustee John Gill to the podium to help us with another special recognition that is endemic to our traditions and values as the Critical Thinking College.
Thank you, Dr. McLeod-Walls. Continuing the tradition today of recognizing those who make an impact on our campus and community, we are proud to honor two of Kansas City's finest, Dr. Cecilia Robinson and Mr. Maurice Watson. Beyond the degrees conferred during commencement, the honorary doctorate is among the highest honors bestowed by a college. This recognition is reserved for individuals who distinguish themselves through professional contributions, who uphold the mission and values of the college, or to help further the college's objectives through service. Dr. Cecilia Robinson, would you please join? Dr. Cecilia McBride Robinson, Professor Emerita of William Jewell College, taught in the English department for 34 years. In addition to teaching, she served as the English Department Advising Director, Director of the Writing Center, Faculty Advisor to the Black Student Association, Chair of the College Annual Fund, and completed a faculty appointment at Harlexton College in England. Someone who believes in the value of education, Dr. Robinson received a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and an education specialist degree, then earned a doctorate of education from the University of Kansas and completed advanced graduate study at the University of Oxford in England. Her official roles as an educator include positions in high schools, community colleges, and William Jewell College, but the boundaries of her work far surpass these bricks and mortar institutions. Dr. Robinson, along with her late husband Kenneth, has volunteered for various causes that champion cultural awareness and racial diversity and understanding in the Northland. In her role as a volunteer historian for the Black community, she has researched 2 centuries of Clay County African American pioneers, businesses, churches, and schools of which the names are inscribed on the Freedom Fountain Monument in Liberty's Courthouse Square. She has served as a Northland Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Program Chair for more than 30 years, has received numerous honors for community service and social justice, a few of those being the Liberty Outstanding Citizen Award, the Outstanding Missourian Award from the Missouri House of Representatives, and the AT&T Leadership Council Award for Human Relations work. She may be retired as a professor, but Dr. Robinson remains an active civil servant and community organizer. Currently, she is a member of the Assistance League of the Kansas City Board, Clay County Historical Millennium Board, Rebuilding Together Clay County Board, the Northland Coalition for Justice, Vice President of the Greater Kansas City Black History Group, and historian and gallery curator for the Clay County African American Legacy Incorporation of Garrison School Cultural Center in Liberty. She is also a deaconess at First Baptist Church in Liberty, where she serves as chair of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Robinson, for your commitment to education, service, diversity, and justice reflects the values of this college. Upon the strength of the qualifications cited, I am pleased to confer upon you, through the authority vested in me by the trustees of William Jewell College, the degree Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. In token whereof, we present this diploma and this hood. Congratulations. Mr. Maurice Watson, will you please join us? I am pleased to introduce Mr. Maurice Watson. As chair of the Kansas City law firm Husch Blackwell, he develops and communicates the firm's strategic direction and aligns its policies and culture. He is a member of the Husch Blackwell Executive and Partner Boards, the Diversity Council, and Healthcare, Life Science, and Education industry team. His practice focuses on representation of educational institutions, including public and private schools and school systems, colleges, universities, and regional and national educational associations. He has represented clients in state and federal courts for employment discrimination, harassment, and alleged violations of statutory and constitutional rights. He speaks at national conferences on the legal rights of students and employees in the school setting, and also works with boards on best governance practices. In the area of healthcare, he brings significant board membership and community experience, such as leadership positions with the Healthcare Foundation of Greater Kansas City and the AIDS Service Foundation. He is an advocate for children's health, serving on the boards of children's hospitals and supporting their interests in federal legislation. His professional memberships and associations span local bar association and diversity councils to national associations for schools and children's hospitals. His civic involvement includes leadership roles on numerous boards representing education, health care, and the arts, such as Children's Mercy Hospital and Foundation, Nelson Atkins Museum of Art, the Harry S. Truman Library Institute, the Civic Council of Greater Kansas City, the Kansas City Ballet, and the Metropolitan Community College Foundation. It is these organizations to which he devotes his professional expertise and the civic groups to which he serves as an engaged Kansas Citian that have earned him numerous recognitions. The Kansas City Business Journal Power 100 list, the Martindale Hubbard AV Preeminent Rating, Missouri Hospital Association Excellence in Governance Award, Outstanding Leadership Award from Kansas City's NAACP chapter, and Nonprofit Connects Volunteer of the Year, just to name a few. Before joining Hush Blackwell, Mr. Watson was a senior aide to U.S. Senator John Danforth in Washington, D.C. He holds a bachelor's degree from Harvard and a Juris Doctorate from the Harvard Law School. Mr. Watson, William Jewell College is grateful for your significant role in making this a stronger community and for advocating for health care and education. Upon the strength of the qualities cited, I am pleased to confer upon you, through the authority vested in me by the trustees of William Jewell College, the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. In token whereof, we present this diploma and this hood.
In just a moment, our graduates, platform party, and faculty will take part in our formal recessional. We appreciate help from all of you, members of the audience, as we keep the aisles clear while the graduates recess. Immediately following the recessional, graduates and their families and friends are invited to attend the alumni photo party sponsored by the Jewell Alumni Association at the south end of the Mabee Center behind the stage.